a quick question. And this question is: if there was a game that you want to speedrun through, what would it be? I asked you guys before the podcast. Now, what you guys think of, if there's a game you want to speedrun, what would it be? I will explain why I wanted to bring this up real quick, and then we'll go ahead and end our podcast. So, the speedrunning community has been a big deal since playing video games. And everyone wants to try to be the fastest. Everyone wants to try to be the biggest. There's been some arguments in the community of how it's been going recently. So, such as the new world record for the time that's been beaten Elder Rings is now down to, I'm pretty sure time recording this is 6 minutes. 6 minutes is the fastest someone's been able to beat it, and it's glitching through the map, teleporting through the game, using the game. They're not putting in cheats and stuff, but they're using the game's breaking to their advantage. And some players are saying that this is not right, especially hearing that they're not going to fix those little breaks that the game's having. So they don't feel like that's right of how you're going to go about playing it. But we've seen this happen in other games, such as one of the Zelda games that were out on the Nintendo Switch. When it got released, people were trying to speedrun through it, and there was parts where you would literally fall through the map and do something. The game glitches. You at the end, you can beat it in like 12 minutes, I think, is what someone beat it at. I'm not 100% certain.
There's somebody who was able to glitch their way through a demo of Ocarina of Time, because when Super Smash Bros. Brawl came out on the Wii, not Wii U, the Wii.
Okay.
They had a bunch of games that were available, just like quick 5-minute snippets of Star Fox, Mario, Zelda. Well, it turns out that the code needed to actually beat the game was in that demo. So somebody was able to speed run the demo and beat Ocarina of Time in the middle of Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Interesting. I did not know that story. So that's kind of the reason why I wanted to bring up this topic, and I'd love you guys to answer in the comment section down below. And if there's a game that you want to speed run through, let us know. But what is a game that you guys would want to speed run through?
Halo 2.
What was that, Charles?
Halo 2, because that's the game that's the biggest Halo out of the Halo games. All of them that I've been able to beat that game. When I first got it, I practically beat it the same day. Pretty much, I was playing on normal. And even then on normal, all I have to do is just pick up the shotgun and I can just freaking blast everything. And in my path, freaking with just that thing, because the shotgun hit freaking crazy in that game. Because Halo 2 was the last one where the shotgun had the 12-round magazine. And that thing freaking pretty much freaking annihilates anything in its path. Maybe the brutes, but the brutes are freaking annoying in Halo 2.
Trying to look up and see what's the record for beating a whole entire Halo. It shows here on HaloRun.com that Halo 1 solo or Halo 2's solo. What mode did you want to play it on? Let's say easy, because that's the first ones up here. Let's say easy. Is 1 hour and 6 minutes. That would be a fun video if you can make it happen, Charles. If you could sit there and try to speed run through Halo 2 on easy mode. 1 hour and 3 minutes.
Beat Halo 2 even on easy, just to freaking speed run through that thing. Somehow to freaking pull off some freaking ridiculous freaking jump, freaking that sends me flying across the map. Like
yeah, but it's the end mission. It's the end mission that is the biggest one you need to focus on. Everything else, according to it, you can get through. It's that end mission that someone was able to beat it in 3 minutes because they got to the point where the ship's coming through. They jump up on top of it and it blasts them across the map with the energy sword. But I mean, it'll be still fun if you could speedrun it. Joseph, what would be a game that you would speedrun?
I had a hard time with this one because I'm not a big fan of speedrunning, which we could get into because I know you're going to ask me about that too. So I might have to change my answer in like a week. But for now, I'm going to say I would like to speed run through the original Resident Evil. Probably the GameCube remake and not the PS1 because I'm more familiar with the GameCube remake.
Fair.
And the reason why is because I'm not a huge fan of like the glitching side of it. But I do respect the ingenuity for players to like crash test these games, figure out ways to, phase through floors and end up in a tower somewhere else. So I don't have an interest in doing that, but I do respect players for that ingenuity, which is why, and I'm looking at the speedrun.com website, there is a filter for major glitches or no major glitches. So assuming that a few small glitches will be let through regardless, okay, that's all right. but there is a recognition of like, look, some people, they don't want to like no clip their way through the game, so we should recognize that as its own effort, and they do. And so I have a total respect for that. So Resident Evil seems like the kind of game that I don't think you really can glitch it. I'll be wrong. Straight up, I'm going to be wrong about that one for sure when I look into it. But based on like getting better at that game is about knowledge, like remembering where everything is, remembering the puzzles, knowing what fights to avoid, being able to be really good at just like, you know, like running past all the zombies, really, I guess, avoiding as many fights as possible, frankly. So that would be like the kind of game where the better the player gets at it, the more they're going to naturally do things faster. And I think it's a way of organically getting people into that kind of loop. So yeah, that would be a fun game for me to try to speed run. But straight up, I'm probably not going to actually attempt to speed run it anytime soon.
No, that's fair.
Resident Evil, I don't know if Nemesis was in it or not, or the Lickers, but those be like the two things that make it the hardest to try and beat the Resident Evil
Well,
game.
Lickers are in part 2. Nemesis is in part 3.
Yeah. What was in Resident Evil 1 was Hunters, is what they were called. They're a frog mutation that was made from the leeches in Resident Evil 0. They were a frog mutation that started from little minnows, and they turned into the creepy-ass killers they are now. So for speedruns, I actually did a speedrun, and unfortunately, I didn't get it documented the proper way, so it wasn't able to be official, but if you search up Resident Evil 8 Village on speedrun.com, there is an Xbox category that I also love that they separate them into the actual categories, or it's the Resident Evil 1. But they had no speedruns for Xbox on there at the time, and I wanted to get it on there, but I did not know you could not stop your game for any reason. You only have like a 30-second period to stop. And you only get like 1 or 2 bathroom breaks, depends on your time period. But so I kept pausing throughout it, but on the games record, I beat it in 50 minutes. That at the time was like one of the best times on there. But I got up, I had coffee, I came back, I got done talking on the phone with my dad, and it did not count. But it's been one I want to actually have on record because I'm a big Resident Evil fan, and Resident Evil 8 right now is still one of my favorite Resident Evil games at this moment in time because of how well it was made after years later on the first Resident Evil game. When you can still make a game and it being one of the best for a lot of people, I'm sorry, that deserves a little bit of round of applause. So if there was one I want to go through, it would be like the Resident Evil games, but specifically right now Resident Evil 8 because it's a game that I really do enjoy, especially once again, after a game was made so long. I don't personally like the idea of glitching through a game to try to get it, but I do, like you said, like there's a YouTube channel you brought up a couple weeks ago that they literally go through and break games. Like they will play games and try to break them, but it works. Colin and Samir even brought a channel like that up similarly, and they go through these games trying to break the game, and it works. Like, you get the idea of it. There's other YouTube creators that kind of use them as an example because they were going off thumbnails. Like, when you see the thumbnail, you know, like, what they're doing. But these guys literally try to go through and break the game. So, for someone finding a way to break the game, but in a way that it works consistently over and over again, does take some skills. It does take time. It does take all this. And they obviously played it to know what they have to do, how they have to do it, how many times they have to do it. The current guy who holds the record is the only one that's been able to continuously beat his own record on Elder Rings. So, I mean, props to him. But because we are getting to a wrapping point, anything else you guys want to discuss for the speedrunning side?
I just think it's just crazy how freaking people being managed to pull off some of the stuff they do in speedruns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how I feel about designers who make their games intending for it to be sped run. Like there's certain indie games that are like made from the ground up to be sped run, and I'm not really sure that's what the speedrunning was supposed to be about. Speedrunning is supposed to be about like take any game, try to beat it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when you make a game that says, okay, this game is made to be beat as fast as possible, it's like, is it though? Because as long as the game is still like a blast, even if a person never intends to speedrun it, then Okay, that's cool. But I would hesitate at like designing a game specifically for this particular hobby when so much of it is built from just like playing whatever game you're really passionate about and just wanting to beat it as fast as you can.
Yeah.